What's up, losers, and welcome back to Zero Loser Studio, the channel where we talk about stuff like this and this. But today, we're talking about this. Sorry in advance. Alright, well, first of all, a big thank you to anyone that didn't click away immediately at the sight of that image. Trust me, it physically pained me too. If you haven't guessed it yet, or you haven't even bothered looking at the title of the video, this week I wanted to talk to you guys about some questionable movies that have been made in the past 20 years. All of which are based off of popular and successful franchises. They're the kind of movies we all wanted as kids, but would have never hoped for as adults. This is going to be one of those videos where I rant for 5 to 7 minutes, but I promise you'll get a laugh out of it. So, let's get to business and get this first one out of the way. Avatar. And no, not this Avatar, or even this Avatar, although I do have strong opinions on both of those as well. I'm talking about the Avatar The Last Airbender film, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It came out in 2010 and was budgeted around $150 million and made about $320 million in the worldwide box office. The movie has been trashed on by fans and critics alike for just about everything. Casting, acting, visual effects, loyalty to the source material, it's all a huge failure. It's considered one of the worst films of all time, and we at Zero Loser Studio wholeheartedly agree with that title. If you're a fan of the original Airbender series that aired on Nickelodeon, don't watch this movie unless you want to confuse and upset yourself. Seriously, it made this epic, memorable fight between Katara and waterbending master Pakku look like, well, this. I wish I could say that was the only example of slow, weak, dragged out bending in the movie, but then we also have this. And that's just a fraction of how disappointing this movie is. Looking back at it now, I'm not actually surprised at how horrible it ended up being. M. Night Shyamalan always has movies that I either personally love or absolutely hate. Other memorable films he's directed include The Sixth Sense, Signs, The Happening, and he's even written for Stuart Little? Alright, I'm not mad at that one. I will say one of my favorite films of all time is randomly Lady in the Water. Not sure why I love that film so much, but I gotta give this guy some respect at least. I can't trash him for this one mistake, even if it is a huge, unforgettable mistake.
So, are you the Avatar Ong?
Okay, there. That's it. That's all I'm gonna talk about this movie in this video. Now we don't have to talk or think about it ever again. Instead, let's talk about another failure of a movie that's based off of another show that we loved as kids. This is one that I try to avoid just as much as the first one because I loved the original so much as a kid. Second on the list today is Dragon Ball Evolution. It came out in 2009 and had a budget of $30 million and made just about $58 million. It was directed by James Wong, which also happened to direct 2 of the Final Destination movies, which also happens to be one of my favorite horror franchises ever. But anyways, this movie, absolutely not worth watching. It barely has anything in common with the original series other than the names of the characters. Goku is played by Justin Chatwin and Chi-Chi is played by Emma Rossum. If they happen to look familiar, you may know them as Fiona Gallagher and Jimmy Lishman from Showtime's Shameless. To start off, Goku is 18 and a senior in high school when this takes place. Like the original, Piccolo is the main villain to watch out for, but he's killing people left and right to gather the Dragon Balls. There's also an attempt at a surprise twist that comes in the form of Goku going Ozaru and killing Roshi before turning back to defeat Piccolo. If you take the risk of watching the movie for yourself, you'll see there clearly wasn't any kind of passion put into the making of the film. The creator of the actual Dragon Ball franchise, Akira Toriyama, has shared his disappointment and other negative feelings towards the movie. Even the writer of Dragon Ball Evolution, Ben Ramsey himself, has taken credit and apologized publicly for the movie. Ben, I promise to think about your apology as long as you promise to never write those sequels that were planned out. And speaking of sequels, this next movie was also supposed to have some until they were thankfully canceled before that happened. Not based on a TV show, this next one is a little bit different from the rest on this list. I'm curious, does anyone actually remember Street Fighter? The Legend of Chun-Li, or did we all just unanimously decide to erase it from our memory? It also came out in 2009. God, this must have been a rough year. It was directed by Andrzej Bartkowiak, who also helped bring us movies like Cradle to the Grave, Speed, and Romeo Must Die, which I secretly love. The movie was budgeted at $18 million and made less than $13 million. I was so shocked by those numbers that I had to double and triple check it, but yeah. That's how much it made. It's that bad. I will say that this is probably the only movie in this video that I can actually stomach, even though I know how bad it is. Street Fighter has always had a special place in my heart, even as a kid, so it's interesting to see someone's take on a character's origin story even if it is subpar. I enjoyed the little Easter eggs here and there, like Chun-Li spinning bird kick or her Kikoken attack, even if it was lame. The fight scenes were about as good as you can expect with a low budget, and the story itself is supposed to act as a non-canon prequel to Street Fighter 4. It's by no means good, and honestly, I think the only thing I actually really like about this movie is that it takes place in Bangkok. It's still not enough to make it halfway decent though. Okay, so we've got 3 movies out of the way, but we still have one more to grit our teeth through. Netflix is known for making either really good shows and movies or just really bad ones. Unfortunately, 2017's Death Note, based off of the anime of the same name, wasn't one of those great Netflix movies we all love. It had a decent budget of $40 million, but would it be too ridiculous to think that most of that probably went to William Dafoe playing Ryuk? And by the way, spectacular casting on that end. The movie isn't complete shit, but if you're a hardcore fan of the anime, you're gonna probably want to sit this one out. It's very different from the source material, but it never claimed to be loyal, so I can't take too many points off for that. For one, it takes place in America, not Japan. The story itself is a newer take, although it still follows the basic plot of the anime, with L trying to figure out who Kira is. It's convoluted just like the anime, and it has a similarly dark and ominous tone. Talks of a sequel have been made, though I'm not too confident a continuation to the Netflix adaptation will garner any positive reception. They say you should quit while you're ahead, but this is probably one of those cases where you should quit while you're still behind. Please, Netflix, just bring back Sense8. That's what we all really want. And with that, I'm gonna end this list of movies that should have never been. Obviously, and as always, there are a ton more that I could have included in the video, but I didn't have enough time to. I would love to know which other ones you think could have made it onto this video, and if you've seen any of these movies and what you think about them. Let me know. Do any of you guys actually like the Death Note movie? Dragon Ball Evolution? Street Fighter? I'm not gonna ask about that first one. But anyways, let me know in the comments. We'll have a conversation about it. And while you're here, don't forget to give the video a quick like and consider subscribing to Zero Loser Studio. We post every Friday and we love to talk about things like movies, video games, and superheroes. Go ahead and click on one of the videos you see on the screen to give us a quick look. For today though, that's all I've got for you, so I guess I'll see you later, losers.